One Zambia, one nation. A warm welcome to the Zanis News with me, Kalan Muchima. The headlines. Rehabilitation works of township roads in Lusaka nearing completion. Masaiti threatens to terminate substandard CDF projects. Government releases 61 million kwacha for upgrading of Chinsali airstrip. And African swine fever breaks out in Chongwe district. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. The rehabilitation and upgrade of township roads in Lusaka at a cost of over 400 million kwacha using the Rural Development Fund are nearing completion. Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary for Administration Mambo Hamaundu has inspected the works and expressed optimism that the works will be completed in the next 3 months. James Malumbana reports.
The rehabilitation and upgrade of township roads in Lusaka at a cost of over 400 million kwacha using the Rural Development Fund are nearing completion. The roadworks, which commenced 4 months ago, are being implemented by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Permanent Secretary for Administration in the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, Mambo Hamaundu, inspected the works on selected roads. Tokyo Way, popularly known as Ring Road, Makishi Road, which has now been turned into a dual carriageway, and Chandwemsonda roads are some of the roads that he inspected. The contractor briefed the peers on the progress made so far.
We've been contracted to do the drainage, and our expectation is this coming month, July, in October, we have to finish. And we've been given the walkways also to do the walkways, both sides. Sure. Our expectation is this month end, or either second week of October, we have to finish before the rainy season.
With the pace and quality of works here, the peers is optimistic that the rehabilitation and upgrade of roads here will be completed in the next 3 months.
In some instances, 80% of, in terms of completion, it's really just looking at the stretches. So for the roadworks themselves, you can see that there's tremendous progress, but there's still the sidewalks that need to be worked on. There are still drainages that need to be worked on. There's still the road markings that need to be done. But what is critical is that we know that over the past 2-3 months or so, we have inconvenienced members of the public who are unable to use this road. So we're happy that we're almost getting to the point where the road can be used whilst the construction works continue. And
Mr. Hamaundu made this call to the residents once the roadworks are completed.
My appeal once again is to members of the community to really protect these assets because they are theirs. And the aspect of burning tires or cooking on the road, causing blockages and so on and so forth are not good for tar. It actually damages the tar road.
Jane Simalumba Zanis in Lusaka.
Government, through the Ministry of Justice, has launched a new legal aid board office in Nakonde district of Muchinga province. Minister for Justice Mlambo Haimbe says it is the duty of government to ensure that everyone, regardless of their status in society, receive legal services. Munambonge filed in this report.
In responding to government's policy on decentralization, the Legal Aid Board, with the help of government and Ministry of Justice, has embarked on an ambitious program of taking the legal aid services closer to people. This is why Minister of Justice was in Nakonde district of Muchinga province to launch the new Legal Aid Board office.
Further, the opening of these offices will help to decongest the police cell and facilitate the efficient functioning of the criminal justice system here in Nakonde and beyond. With the promise of intervention that I have given, we will move on this journey step by step. You may wish to note this regard that this newly established office will provide various services, a wide range of services, from legal counsel representation in court to those who cannot afford it, and including other legal services as the community may demand.
And Legal Aid Board Chairperson highlighted the importance of the new office.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is therefore envisaged that increasing our geographical footprint will help immensely to contribute towards upholding human rights of all persons, especially those whose means may be inadequate, but in the interest of justice, ought still to be assisted with legal aid services. Consequently, the official launch of the Legal Aid Board Nakonde District Office being witnessed today is a symbolic statement of the board's commitment to facilitating access to justice for all, especially amongst the poor and the vulnerable across all the length and breadth of our great country, Zambia.
Meanwhile, Chief Dennis Waitwika thanked government for the gesture.
Through the provincial minister, who is not here, but I think since you are here at the head of the Ministry of Justice, my sincere thanks to the head of state for this gesture, which is unique in nature here in Nakonde. There has never been anything like this before.
The new Legal Aid Board office will provide legal aid services in both criminal and civil matters to persons whose means are inadequate. Munachibende for Zanis in Nakonde district of Mchinga province.
We go to Northern Province, where Northern Province Permanent Secretary Bernard Mpundu has directed the local authority and the district administration in Mbala to remove garbage at Lucheche Stream. The source of Lucheche Stream, which is an overflow from Lake Chila, the main source of water for the residents of Mbala district, has been turned into a dump site. Here's a report.
This is the source of Lucheche Stream in Mbala district of Northern Province, which has been turned into a dump site. Northern Province Permanent Secretary visited the site and is unhappy with the careless disposal of waste. He has since directed the local authority to move in.
This cannot be accepted. We are talking of a clean environment, and I think we must practice. As a local authority, you need to move quickly. As a district administration, you need to move quickly and remove this together with the Chambeshi Water and Sanitation Company. This is the water that is flowing to the communities, and somebody goes there just to break the bottles. Eventually one particle will move with the water and it will be consumed by the community. We may lose a person unknowingly that the source of that death is coming from here. So we must be mindful and take care of our environment.
And the district administration called on the business community to be responsible in the manner they dispose waste in the area.
Pointing to say that whenever the people are trying to clean these premises, instead of finding a designated place where they're supposed to dispose of the garbage, they are throwing it near the lake. And the lake is the only source of drinking water that we have in the district. I would love to send this as a caution to all the drinking places owners, that they should be making sure that whatever garbage is coming out of these drinking places, let it be collected properly and disposed in the designated places.
Bright Banda is Director of Engineering Services at Mbala Municipal Council.
As a council, we are not happy, and we work with our stakeholders to ensure that the same waste is actually dumped at a designated place.
Taonga Nkoma for Zanis in Mbala district.
We take you now to the Copper Belt, where government has urged civic leaders in Kalulushi district to open up mobile money booth for vulnerable social cash transfer beneficiaries in their wards. Kalulushi District Administrative Officer Indiana Musonda says this will make it easy for the beneficiaries to access the mobile payments under the Zambia Integrated Social Protection Payment Gateway. The local authority in Masaiti district has threatened to terminate contracts for contractors who will exhibit substandard works on Constituency Development Fund CDF projects. Masaiti Town Council Director of Works, Diwombela Mulala, said government wants to see quality assurance on projects implemented by the local contractors under CDF. Here's a report.
Government is promoting local contractors to participate in taking up constituency development fund projects. However, government desires to see to it that the local contractors do not compromise on quality when undertaking these projects. In Masaiti district, a team comprising of the local authority and other stakeholders have intensified monitoring of the constituency development fund project in Kaflafta constituency.
So we just came to verify to see if the contractor has rectified the defects that were there. The instructions are that the contractor is supposed to demolish part of the slab and recast so that we have a strong slab. So it's expected to execute these works within 14 days, and then after 14 days we shall still come back to check, and if we'll be satisfied, that's when now we shall be able to allow the contractor to proceed with the superstructure works. The issue is that it's not that we are trying to be harsh on the contractor. I think you've heard what the president has been saying. I think he has made a lot of emphasis on the issues of the right cost, a good quality, and timely delivery. So what we are seeing here is that there's not much quality that is here. So we're just trying to make sure that there's quality in the projects that we are going to deliver. So that's why we are instructing the contractor to demolish and recast so that we get the quality that we need. We don't want to compromise on the issues of quality. So I want all contractors, I think we are paying to all the contractors in the district to make sure that as they execute these works that which have been given under CDF, they must ensure that the construction procedures are properly followed so that we get the quality that we desire. We don't want to see projects that once they have been commissioned, within a space of 5 years they start having serious defects. So I think that one we are not going to allow in the district.
And during the tour, Chamber Primary School head teacher has appealed to the contractor to expedite on the works at the school.
The school runs from EC up to grade 9 with only 3 classes. Then the enrollment is about 545 pupils. So class allocation is very difficult. So looking at this slab, the 1x3 which has come, we are very, very happy. And we are looking forward that it finishes in time so that at least our class allocation is improved.
Rachichanda, Zanis, Masaiti District, Copperbelt Province.
In business news, the Zambia Revenue Authority ZRA has called on the small and medium enterprises to deepen their understanding on tax policies and procedures in order to grow their businesses and contribute positively to the economic development of the country. ZRA Innovation and Project Management Director Miriam Savi says the authority has thus organized a symposium to capacitate small businesses on tax procedures. She was speaking during the tax symposium aimed at empowering SMEs on Zambia's tax landscape in Lusaka.
The need for small business enterprises to have a deeper understanding in tax compliance issues play a critical role in enhancing their productivity. To this end, the Zambia Revenue Authority has held a tax symposium in Lusaka today aimed at empowering SMEs with knowledge on tax policies.
The SMEs are said to be the lifeblood of our economy, driving innovation, creating jobs, and fostering economic growth. So, in short, they fuel progress and prosperity in our nation. Today, we gather here as Zambia Revenue Authority to educate all of you on what is required to be done with regards to tax compliance. That we want to empower SMEs with tax knowledge. We want to assist them where they're having challenges when it comes to tax compliance. And the intention or the objective is that we want to make it very easy for you to pay your taxes so that you are able to contribute to domestic revenue.
USAID Revenue for Growth Project Chief of Party pointed out the strides the institution is making to help ZRA in revenue matters.
Today, with our government counterparts, USAID R4G co-sponsored last year's Ministry of Finance Budget Symposium, which was conducted right after the reading of the budget, as well as 2 subsequent budget symposiums that were held in the Copper Belt. Many of you attended the event, the Town Hall Forum that was held just last month that the Ministry of Finance put on the medium-term budget plan. USAID, R4G also co-sponsored that event. We plan to co-sponsor the upcoming budget symposium that will be held on October 2nd that the Ministry of Finance will give. And we will also co-sponsor, for your information, the National Economic Symposium that will be held in mid-October.
Lusaka District Business Association called on ZRA to spread their tax net to small businesses.
There is compliance. We must be compliant in the things that we do. It's as simple as that. We must be compliant, and when we are compliant, we must also begin to see a relationship between what we do or don't do with what will be happening on 29th of September. On 29th September, the Minister of Finance will be announcing the national budget. So you should ask yourself, I should ask myself, what's been the input of us in the national budget?
Meanwhile, one of the SMEs who participated at the symposium welcomed the initiative by ZRA to empower them with information on tax policies.
This symposium is very important because as SMEs, we are the biggest partner in economic development because we comprise, I think, 97% of all businesses, according to statistics that the minister gave to us in the other seminar we had. So compliance to tax issues is very, very important because that's the only way we are going to grow the economy if we are all compliant.
For Zanis in Lusaka, I am Sande Waria.
We move to Southern Province, where Provincial Permanent Secretary Namani Mose has called on communities in the region to embrace the cooperative concept as a tool for development. Speaking when he visited the 18-member Tukwashane Women Cooperative in Pemba District, Dr. Mose said the group is proving that the cooperative concept is the way to go. Nchimunya Alumpana reports.
A perfect example of how the cooperatives concept can transform lives. The Tukwashane Cooperative of Kanchomba in Chief Hamaundu's area, which only started as a small savings group, has now ventured into different livelihood activities.
Twijisimara ku 400 something we are mbere chini mahosika junza imwajana hino gayisikoro no iri munzira twajibonya igujurira gendera uti tujibonya buyabuberega twagajigula hamame igaya breakfast irapanga busenga irapanga musoya tambo kuriya gabo tugwajani wiya banatozwidira gusamasi onse winda mubupampubwa wiya buti muntu tayerede gukarabe werede guri gutawugira.
The cooperative is also implementing various corporate social responsibility programs in the area while empowering other households to also venture into chicken rearing.
Twagajigwa ibujita adopt bana bajigolo grade 1 usika grade 5 tujisibana bali 7 bo tu sponsor bujigolo twabawulira mabugu twabawulira mapeni yasika jinji bona twagwahiriya abamajembere kubali bataligo hezi
ndimpo kwete 3000 ma households are 150 so household yakarukweza mkoko 20.
Southern Province Permanent Secretary Dr. Namani Monze visited the cooperative and wants the communities in the province to embrace the cooperative concept as a tool for rural development.
We have heard in some circles that cooperatives in Zambia is a non-starter. But I think for me, it's a good example to show that was just our thoughts. These are things that can be realized. These are things that can improve people's livelihoods. So we are hoping with this story, many more villages, many more chiefdoms can be organized.
World Vision Zambia is happy to see Tukwashane Cooperative grow, along with other groups that have embraced the culture of working together.
We've got about 25 commercial producer groups which are calling the cooperatives, and we are believing the power of aggregation, working together. We don't want the person to be selling the product singly. How do they bring the products together? We've been able to attract markets as far as maybe Kabesha, people from very far places, because these people are able to put products together, and people are coming and getting at one place.
In Chimuyana Lumpa, Zanis, in Choma, Southern Province.
Thank you so much, Chimunya, for that report. Now, in education news, government has released about 61 million kwacha for the upgrading of the Chinsali airstrip in Muchinga Province. Muchinga Province Minister Henry Sikazwe said works on the project will commence in October next month, with the contractor already identified to do the project. Mr. Sikazwe told Zanis when he checked on the airstrip in Chinsali today that the upgrading of the field is part of the continued preparations of the Muchinga Investment Forum and Expo. Here's a report.
With the aviation industry being one of the growing transport industries in the country, government has been embarking on various projects to construct and upgrade airports and airstrips. And with Muchinga Province slated to hold an investment forum and expo soon, Chinsali district is the latest to benefit from an upgrade of this airstrip. Muchinga Province Minister Henry Sikazwe, who visited the Chinsali airstrip, disclosed that government has since released funds to upgrade this airfield.
The government has given us money through the Ministry of Finance, 61 million kwacha, just to upgrade the runway and also the boarding room, plus the access road with street lights. That will be modern, and we are hoping that very soon the contractor will coincide.
Earlier, the provincial minister featured on a live program on Muchinga Radio to clarify on the postponement of the investment forum and expo.
Inove personally shirefo kushachinsali ngefe na isangile ama potholes awe. Shirefo ko ishafile. So therefore mutupeleko festa. Tumane foto wala bombela mwanza safa. Ubutako na mutupelenda mu bakupanga airport. So this is the airport. I'm convinced that expo akafya capital limbichikesa shupa airport because attention is not of.
Mr. Sikazwe also stated that preparations for the event have continued and the new date for the event will soon be announced. Henry Nupa Jr., Zanis in Chinsali, Muchinga Province.
Sarah Lungu in Mafinga District, Muchinga Province, reports that the Zambia's Police Service Commission says it is dedicated to seeing to it that the working and living conditions of men and women in uniform are improved. Zambia Police Service Commission Chairperson Peter Machungwa made the assurance in Mafinga when he led a team of commissioners and senior service officers from departments under the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
We're in the district to appreciate the challenges and have first-hand information on the living and working conditions of the men in uniform. This was a delegation of commissioners from the Zambia Police Service Commission, representatives of the Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security, a representative of the Inspector General of Police, and the Regional Immigration Officer, led by the Zambia Police Service Commission Chairperson, Dr. Peter Machungwa.
We are going around the Muchinga province to talk to our officers, to look at the infrastructure, and to look at all issues, transport and other related issues that face our officers. The idea is we get this information, work with police command and other government agencies to try and improve on conditions, infrastructure, so that security can be improved for our area.
And Dr. Machungwa, who inspected infrastructure at the two police posts in Miombe and Tendere, was not happy with the working and living conditions of the uniformed officers. He noted with displeasure that of the two police posts, only one has a staff house, while the other police post doubles as living space for officers, as well as housing holding cells for criminals in temporary custody.
The officers were looking at the infrastructure. This one is totally unsuitable for a police post or a police station. This one we've been using because we had nothing to use, but it cannot adequately cater for our needs.
However, working conditions are about to improve as the Ministry of Home Affairs and Internal Security has revealed that funds to complete the police post under construction, whose work stalled in 2017, have been released.
The new contractor will be on site to finish up the project. Funds are already with us, this is Service Headquarters.
Sarah Mwatolungu reporting for Zanis in Mafinga District, Muchinga Province.
Government says there is an outbreak of the African swine fever recorded in Chaminuka area of Chongwe district. Zanis reports that the Minister of Fisheries and Livestock, Makozo Chikote, said the disease was confirmed by the Central Veterinary Research Institute on Saturday, September 16, 2023. Speaking during a media briefing in Lusaka, Mr. Chikote said the disease was discovered at a facility where a total of 13 pigs were recorded dead between 12th to 16th September 2023 from the initial population of 596. He said government has put in place urgent measures to control the spread of a disease, including ban of movements of pigs and pig products into and out of Chaminuka area, setup of biosecurity checkpoints on roads leading into and out of Chaminuka. Mr. Chikote stated that other measures being implemented include the slaughtering and banning of affected pigs, and government is targeting to slaughter and ban 583 pigs at the affected facility. The minister has since assured the public that the disease is being controlled and that the pigs and products from the affected animals are not being sold on the market. The African swine fever is a highly infectious and deadly viral disease which affects both domestic and wild pigs.
I would like to inform the nation that there's an outbreak of African swine fever in the Chaminuka area of Chongwe district. The disease was confirmed on Saturday, 16th September 2023 at the Central Veterinary Research Institute. The outbreak has been recorded at one facility which had an initial pig population of 596, and between 12th and 16th of September 2023, a total of 13 pigs have died. To avert further spread of this devastating pig disease, the following measures are being instituted with immediate effect. 1. The ban of movement of pig and pig products into and out of the Chaminuka area of Chongwe district. 2. Biosecurity checkpoints will be set up on roads leading into and out of Chaminuka area. 3. Monitoring and surveillance in Chaminuka and adjacent areas of Chiwombo and Chisamba district to ascertain the presence and the extent of the spread of the disease. And number 4, slaughter of pigs from affected and in contact farms. So far we have targeted to slaughter and ban 583 pigs at the affected facility under the supervision of veterinary officers. The whole program is aimed at making sure that no product from that area moves into town or moves on the market. So that's our focus as a ministry.
And in a related development, government has advised cattle farmers across the country to take advantage of the Constituency Development Fund (CDF) to construct dipping facilities to address livestock diseases. Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries Director of Veterinary Services, Geoffrey Muka, said the CDF offers resources that can be used to construct dipping tanks to cure tick-borne diseases in cattle. Dr. Muka said 5 provinces are facing a high prevalence of tick-borne diseases which can be addressed through the construction of dip tanks using CDF funds. Speaking at a press briefing in Lusaka, Dr. Muka named the provinces as Lusaka, Southern, Eastern, and the Copperbelt province.
That are eligible to immunize the calves that are below 2.5 years old, countrywide. That is Lusaka province, Southern province, Central province, Copperbelt province, Eastern provinces, where we have a high prevalence of tick-borne diseases. The immunization is done once in a lifetime for every cow. Any calf that is immunized is only immunized once in its lifetime. So you pay this 50 kwacha once in the lifetime of that animal. So it is very cost effective if you look at the value of the animal from the time it is a calf to the time it reaches the market value. So you find that the farmer really saves. That are below 2.5 years old, countrywide. that is Lusaka province, Southern province, Central province, Copperbelt province, Eastern provinces, where we have a high prevalence of tick-borne diseases. In these areas right now, our field staff are on the ground immunizing the calves. We are charging 50 kwacha per calf that is vaccinated. And this is because we are trying to have this program run on its own as a sustainable program, which the farmers themselves will own. In that the money that they are paying, we are using that money to produce a stabulate. We produce a stabulate. The stabulate, I'm using maybe a scientific term, we are producing the vaccine that we are using ourselves in this country. So we want to use, we are using that money as a revolving fund that the farmers are paying, putting it back for production so that this program is sustainable. We do not run out of funds to run this program in the near future.
In health news, the Zambia Flying Doctor Service has attended to over 330 people in general screening, optometrists and dental services at Mambwe Mission Rural Health Center in Senga Hill District. Team leader Miriam Nawale says the team will also visit facilities in Mpande, Sokolo, Nondo and Senga District Hospital in the next 4 days. Here's a report.
A team of medical specialists from the Zambia Flying Doctor Service are in Senga Hill District on a 5-day working program. Scores of residents thronged Mambwe Mission Rural Health Center as early as 06 hours to access services being offered by various specialists. Team leader Dr. Miriam Nawale highlights the objective of the program.
As Zambia Flying Doctor Service, we're here to bring quality services to our people that are in far, far places of the country. We'll be providing dental services, ophthalmological services, general screening, pharmacy, as well as general surgeries.
And district administration is excited
to receive the team from Zambia Flying Doctors. They are here to give medical services to our people. Our people have been faced with challenges. Some of them, they have been told to go to Lusaka, of which they don't have monies to go there. So we are very happy as a district. Our people are going to receive medical treatments just within our facilities.
Meanwhile, community members want more of such visits in the area. Indeed, the need to take primary and secondary health care services to rural communities can be seen from the long queues spotted at 21 hours as people patiently waited for their turn to come so that they can be screened for their illnesses. Reporting for Zanis in Senga Hill District, Namsokwe Bwembia.
In Lusaka, government has disclosed that over 9.4 billion kwacha has so far been paid to beneficiaries of the National Pensions Scheme Authority NAPSA partial retirement withdrawal. Minister of Labour and Social Security, Brenda Tambatamba, says the successful implementation of the NAPSA pre-retirement lump sum benefit has seen over 492,000 members receiving their partial retirement packages. Ms. Tambatamba disclosed this during the 3rd Tripartite Consultative Labour Council meeting in Lusaka. Speaking earlier at the same event, Zambia Federation of Employers Mara Sakala said the authorization of the repealing of the Pensions Scheme Regulation Number 28 of 1996 is a beneficial in regulating the pensions and insurance industry. And International Labour Organization Director for Zambia, Malawi and Mozambique, Wellington Chibebe, said effective dialogue between government and employers and workers will promote social justice, improved wages and sustainable enterprises. Mr. Chibebe was speaking in a speech read on his behalf by ILO Project Manager for Social Protection, Jean-Louis Lambert.
So it is gratifying to note that over 9.4 billion has so far been paid out to 492,443 members. The previous week, we talked about 8.5 billion. Now we are at 9.4 billion kwacha that has gone into the economy. This demonstrates government's commitment to walking the talk to not only change the lives of the Zambians for the better, but also to enhance economic growth, economic recovery to growth.
Noting that Cabinet has in principle authorized the repealing and replacement of the Pension Schemes Regulations Act number 28 of 1996 with an objective to strengthen the supervisory and oversight roles of the PIA, while modernizing and harmonizing the legal framework, it may be beneficial to the industry to have a modernized and harmonized way of regulating the pensions and insurance industry.
The ILO has projected the challenges for the future of work, raised the need for further social dialogue. These challenges include widening income inequalities, the changing nature of employment relationships, the prevalence of informal employment and reduced public expenditure. They are exacerbated by several mega drivers of change, in particular technological advances, demographic shifts, climate change, and globalization.
The National Prosecutions Authority has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Chandler Institute of Governance from Singapore to conduct leadership and change management training for its members of staff. Director of Public Prosecutions, Gilbert Piri, says the aim of the training is to enable the authority to deliver exceptional services to members of the public by addressing challenges that impede smooth execution of the organization's mandate. Mr. Piri was speaking shortly after the official opening of the 3-day workshop in Lusaka and stressed that the partnership will ultimately yield a crop of leaders who will display tenets of integrity. And Chandler Institute of Governance Executive Director Wu Wei Neng explained that the training will strengthen the existing structures by supporting what the NPA wants to achieve so as to benefit the people of Zambia.
Institute of Governance. And what we are looking forward to do is to forge ahead with a partnership with the Chandler Institute of Governance, which is based in Singapore, to work on issues of change, organizational change in the National Prosecution Authority. We want them to help us drive the agenda of change management, institutional change management, and for them to help us develop the institution, the capabilities of the institution in terms of leadership, in terms of middle management and senior management. But
the DPP has expressed many occasions. So to your precise question of why these partnerships matter, I think it's because government organizations exist to serve the public and to serve the citizens. So that requires several things. The first is professionalism, the capabilities, the skills to be able to discharge their mission and their mandate well. Also the ability to sustain and earn the trust of the public. I think that's extremely important. So that cannot be just done through empty rhetoric, but also through commitments, actions, and deeds. So it's in this regard, that this context, that we are here to work with the NPA, with the DPP, and with his leadership team to build the kind of organizational capabilities, culture, together with them. So I want to stress this is not about us coming in to parachute or impose anything foreign or unwelcome. This is about us coming here to learn, to understand humbly what the context is that the government faces, what the leadership wants to achieve, and then to support the leadership in achieving what they want to.
And on that note, we've come to the end of the Zanis news. But before we go, a quick look at the headlines once again. Rehabilitation works of township roads in Lusaka nearing completion. Masaiti threatens to terminate substandard CDF projects. Government releases 61 million kwacha for upgrading of Chinsali airstrip. And African swine fever breaks out in Chongwe district. That's the end of the news. On behalf of the entire studio and technical crew, my name is Kalan Mchima, wishing you God's blessings. Bye-bye for now.